Hey everyone, welcome back to English Journey, the podcast where we share real conversations, laughter, and stories to help you grow your English skills in a fun way. I'm Alex, your host, and today we're diving into a topic that sparks debates everywhere: city living. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming about a little house in the countryside, fresh air, quiet mornings, maybe even a garden full of vegetables? But then, snap, you remember how much you love your favorite cafe around the corner, the fast Wi-Fi, or the buzzing streets full of life? If that sounds like you, you're not alone. To make this conversation more exciting, I've invited a friend to join me. She's someone who has lived in both a small town and a major city, so she knows the contrast really well. Please welcome Maya.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Honestly, when you mentioned today's topic, I smiled because this is literally my life. Half of me loves the idea of a calm countryside life, but the other half, oh my gosh, I can't imagine giving up the city's energy.
I knew you'd say that, and that's exactly why I wanted you here. Because when people think about city living, they often focus on the chaos, traffic jams, rent, the stress. But there's a whole other side to the story, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about the noise or the tall buildings. It's about opportunities, connections, experiences. I mean, just yesterday, I finished work late, and within 5 minutes, I was having dinner at a little Thai restaurant with friends. If I lived in the countryside, that would be what, a 30-minute drive? Maybe more.
True. So for our listeners, here's what we'll do today. Maya and I are going to break down the real reasons why so many people choose cities over small towns. We'll share the good, the bad, and everything in between. And along the way, you'll pick up useful vocabulary and expressions you can use in daily life.
Sounds perfect. And hey, I promise to keep it honest. I'll admit when I hate city life, but also why I still stay.
That's exactly what makes this conversation fun. So to kick things off, tell me, Maya, do you ever seriously consider moving out of the city?
Sometimes when I'm stuck in traffic for 45 minutes, I look at the sky and think, why am I doing this to myself? But then the next day, I'm walking through a street market, surrounded by colors, food smells, live music, and I remember why. I feel alive here.
That's such a powerful word, alive. And I think that's the heart of today's conversation. Cities, for all their flaws, give people this sense of movement, of possibility.
Yes, and I think people, especially younger generations, crave that. We don't want just comfort. We want experiences, growth, opportunities.
Exactly. All right, let's dive deeper. In the next part, we'll look at the number one reason people move to cities: career opportunities. Because, let's face it, as much as we love good food and concerts, jobs are what really bring people here. So, Maya, let's jump right into it. If I had to guess the number one reason why people move to the city, I'd say it's jobs. Am I right?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, let's be real here. Most of the good-paying, career-building jobs are in the city. I grew up in a small town, and I remember so many talented people struggling to find stable work. My cousin, for example, she's brilliant, speaks 3 languages, but all she could find back home were part-time shifts at a local shop. When she finally moved to the city, within 2 weeks, she landed a full-time job in an international company.
That's such a good example, and it's not just about having a job, it's about growth, right? In cities, you have opportunities to network, meet mentors, and climb the ladder faster.
Exactly. It's like doors keep opening. In small towns, maybe you have one door, and if it's closed, well, that's it. But in the city, there are hundreds. Sure, competition is tough, but the possibilities are endless.
And I think that's why so many young people, especially after finishing university, move straight to big cities. It's almost like a rite of passage. They know it's not going to be easy, rent is crazy, stress is real, but they're chasing those chances.
Totally. And honestly, I don't blame them. I sometimes complain about the stress, but then I remember if I hadn't moved here, I wouldn't have my current job or even this lifestyle.
You know what else? It's not just about work. Cities are built on convenience. Think about it. You can finish work at 6 p.m. and within minutes you're at the supermarket, the bank, the pharmacy. Everything is right there.
Yes, that's one of the things I love most. Back in my hometown, if I wanted to buy something simple like almond milk, I had to drive 25 minutes to the nearest supermarket. Here, it's literally across the street. I can even get it delivered in 10 minutes if I'm feeling lazy.
Don't get me started on delivery apps. I think they've ruined me. Sometimes I don't even leave my apartment for 2 days because everything I need just comes to me.
Same here, but beyond shopping, think about transport. I haven't owned a car in years. Between buses, trains, taxis, and bikes, I can get anywhere. It saves money and stress.
Exactly. My car is basically a decoration at this point. It just sits in the parking lot collecting dust. I barely use it.
That's the beauty of it. In cities, you can move around freely. Want to go to work? Take the train. Meeting a friend? Jump in a taxi. Feeling adventurous? Rent a scooter. There's always an option.
And let's not forget airports. Living in a city usually means being close to international travel. You can hop on a plane and be in another country in just a few hours. That's something countryside living rarely offers.
True. For someone like me who loves to travel, that's priceless. And I think this freedom to move, to connect, is part of what makes city life so addictive.
So, to sum this part up, cities attract people mainly because of career opportunities, convenience, and transportation. It's like the city is designed to keep life moving quickly, giving you tools to build the future you want.
Exactly. But, of course, life isn't only about jobs and supermarkets. There's also the emotional side, the fun, the culture, the energy, and honestly, that's where the city really shines.
I couldn't agree more. All right, in the next part, let's dive into what makes city living so exciting. Everything from live music to meeting people from different cultures. Because let's face it, even if we come for the jobs, we stay for the lifestyle.
Yes, and I can't wait to share some of my favorite experiences. Spoiler alert, one of them includes salsa dancing on a random Tuesday night.
Okay, now you've got me curious. Let's jump into that in the next segment.
All right, Maya. Let's talk about what really makes city life sparkle. The lifestyle. You hinted at salsa dancing on a Tuesday night. Tell me more.
Okay, so this happened a few months ago. I had a stressful day at work, and a friend texted me last minute, "Hey, there's a salsa night at this rooftop bar. Come join." Now, in a small town, your options on a Tuesday evening might be staying home, maybe watching TV, or if you're lucky, grabbing coffee at the only cafe open. But here, within 20 minutes, I was surrounded by music, laughter, and people dancing under the city lights. And you know what? I forgot all my stress.
That's amazing. And that's something I hear a lot. Cities have this endless menu of things to do. Concerts, restaurants, festivals, even just walking around and discovering a street market.
Yes, it's like you can never get bored. Last weekend, I went to an outdoor film screening. Imagine watching an old classic movie projected on a wall while sitting on beanbags with strangers. The weekend before that, I tried Ethiopian food for the first time. And next week, there's a jazz festival. Honestly, my calendar is full without even trying.
And that's the charm of cities. You don't have to wait for something big. Even a casual walk can surprise you with street art, musicians, or pop-up events.
Exactly. But it's not only about fun. For me, one of the most valuable things about city living is the diversity. In just 1 week, I had lunch with a colleague from India, joined a yoga class taught by a Brazilian instructor, and chatted with a neighbor from Germany in the elevator. It feels like the world gathers here.
That's such a good point. It's like traveling the world without leaving your city. And being around so many cultures really broadens your perspective, right?
Definitely. It makes you more open-minded. You hear new stories, try new foods, learn new traditions. Even small things like celebrating Lunar New Year with my friends from Asia give me this sense of being part of something bigger than myself.
I love that. And it's not just social life. Education is another big factor. Cities are filled with universities, colleges, workshops, and professional courses. You can always find a place to keep learning.
Oh, yes. I actually just signed up for a digital marketing class. It's only 10 minutes away from my apartment. Back in my hometown, the only classes available were cooking or sewing, which are great, but I wanted more variety. Here, I can learn photography, coding, painting, whatever I feel like.
That's the beauty of it. You can reinvent yourself anytime. Want to learn Spanish? There's a language school nearby. Want to try pottery? There's a weekend workshop. It's like the city constantly gives you tools to grow.
And I think that's why people are willing to put up with the stress, because deep down, we're not just looking for survival, we're looking for growth, connection, and inspiration.
Well said, Maya. Cities are like giant classrooms mixed with amusement parks. You learn, you play, you connect, all in one place.
Exactly. And sometimes even random encounters can change your life. I once met a woman at a photography exhibition. We started talking, and a month later, she connected me to a job opportunity. That's the magic of cities. You never know who you'll meet or what will happen.
Wow, that's powerful. And that kind of serendipity rarely happens in smaller towns where the circle is much smaller.
Yes, it's like cities are made of opportunities hidden in plain sight. You just need to keep your eyes open.
So, to wrap up this part, cities are not only about jobs and convenience, they're about lifestyle, cultural richness, diversity, and endless chances to learn and connect.
Exactly. That's why, even on tough days, I remind myself, where else could I live like this?
Beautifully said, Maya. But of course, city life isn't perfect. In fact, some of those tough days can be really tough. And that's what we'll explore in the next part. The challenges, the stress, the noise, and how to find balance.
Oh boy. I have a lot to say about that.
I bet you do. Let's get into it after the break.
Wow, Maya, I can't believe how fast time flew by today. It feels like we just started talking, and now we're almost at the end of the episode. Honestly, I could keep going for another hour.
Same here. This topic is so big, Brian. I mean, city life touches so many parts of who we are. Our careers, our social lives, even our mental health. No wonder we had so much to share.
Exactly. And I think our listeners are probably nodding along, maybe even debating with us in their heads. Some are probably saying, yes, I love the energy of the city, while others are whispering, nope, give me a quiet countryside morning any day.
That's the beauty of it, right? There's no one size fits all. What makes life fulfilling for me may not be the same for you. And I think that's something we should celebrate instead of arguing about.
Totally agree. But since we promised our audience to give them something clear to take away, let's break it down. What would you say are the top 3 reasons why someone might choose the city?
Okay, let me think. Number 1 has to be opportunities. Jobs, education, networking, all of that is concentrated in cities. If you're ambitious, cities open doors.
Yes, definitely. What about number 2?
Convenience. Everything is within reach. Supermarkets, gyms, hospitals, even entertainment. You rarely feel stuck.
And the 3rd?
I'd say diversity and culture. In cities, you don't just meet people from different backgrounds. You learn from them, taste their food, hear their stories. That makes your own life richer.
Beautifully said. So, opportunities, convenience, and diversity. That sounds like a solid trio.
It is. But I also think it's important to be honest about the flip side. You know, the noise, the stress, the sky-high rent. Cities can swallow you if you're not careful.
That's true. And I've seen people burn out because they tried to do everything. Work, party, hustle, repeat, until they had nothing left to give.
Exactly. That's why we talked about balance earlier. City life is exciting, but if you don't protect your energy, the very thing that attracts you to the city can also drain you.
Well, Nina, if you had to give just one piece of advice to someone who's listening right now, maybe they're considering moving to a big city, what would you say?
Okay, let me think. Number one has to be know yourself. If you thrive on movement, connection, and opportunity, the city will feel you. But if you're someone who needs calm, who values quiet mornings and big skies, then don't feel pressured to fit into the city mold. You're not missing out. You're just choosing differently.
That's powerful. I love that. Know yourself. And don't let society tell you that one lifestyle is better than the other.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, what matters most is whether you wake up feeling excited about your life, not whether you live in a studio in downtown or a farmhouse in the country.
Well, friends, I think that's the perfect note to end on. A huge thank you to Nina for sharing her heart and her wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Brian. This was so much fun. And I hope our conversation made people reflect a little on what they truly want.
I'm sure it did. And to our listeners, thank you for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next one. And hey, share this podcast with a friend who might be debating between city life and country life.
Yes, spread the conversation. You never know whose perspective you might change just by sharing.
Absolutely. Until next time, everyone, stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, the best place to live is the one that makes your heart feel at home.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.